has some really hardcore fans, but it seems that they are split in two, like maybe two eras of the band.
Yeah,
One of those hardcore fans side said that, well, Thomas is kind of a dictator in the band. So you must know this firsthand as you work with the band. So in stuff like, for example, this release, Vehicle Spirit, choosing everything about it, the set list, the shows that you're gonna put on there, artwork and everything. Do you feel like Nightwish is more a democracy than a dictatorship in that?
it is. Yes, well, this is a common problem with as you say, the split down the middle of the fans.
Yeah,
Is a lot of the fans who loved Nightwish in the Tarja era
yeah,
just naturally presume that Tarja was completely pure and innocent, and everything is the fault of the band. And the same with the Net, that they were fired, and it was because they didn't do exactly as they were doing. It was the absolute opposite. I mean, the fact is Nightwish is very much a democracy when it comes to the internal workings of the band. Now, Thomas, the last thing Thomas is in the world, the very last thing, is some kind of dictator, and he's the most unselfish man on earth. But the fans who are fixated on the old era of Nightwish or have came to their own strange ideas that somehow Thomas tells everyone what to do all of the time, and nobody can do anything without Thomas's without him confirming everything is just not true. But the internal workings of the band, no, it is very democratic. Everyone speaks their mind in the band. Everyone has input into the look of the thing. Thomas writes the music. There's no doubt about that, and nobody would want that to change because it's worked perfectly well for 20 years. And why would we change that?
yeah. Good. And at the moment, the band is on hiatus because Flora is pregnant, and you are also resting from an extensive tour that you made.
Yeah.
The last album, Ellen Form's Most Beautiful, was released last year. And well, for next year, it's gonna be already 2 years after the album. So most sure thing is that you're gonna go back to the composing process for a new album. This last album, had a really important epic factor in it, and
Yes.
the fans really love that. So do you think that you will follow that path in the next release, or is it gonna be something more like Dark Passion Play?
Well, yeah, that's a good question too. I mean, the way the band feels at the moment is that we should scrap all of the symphonic music and go more in the direction of maybe Kanye West and Katy Perry. I mean, I'm only joking. I'm only, I can imagine you getting very frightened there.
Yeah.
But no, we loved the direction of Endless Forms Most Beautiful. All of us loved that. I personally love the more progressive side of things, the more progressive sides of metal,
Yeah.
and I thought that our Greatest Show on Earth was. I think it was a pinnacle for the band, not only for the band, but for the whole so-called genre of symphonic metal. I don't think there's been anything quite like it. The fact that we also had such an illustrious guest as Richard Dawkins on it as well gave it incredible credibility. But yeah, we do intend to go further down that road too. We will be. I mean, Nightwish has always made epics, but nothing quite on the scale of the Greatest Show on Earth. But who knows? I mean, maybe the next album, the whole album will be one massive piece.
Well, next year is gonna be a decade already of you collaborating
Yeah.
with Nightwish. So, in these 10 years, you playing with those guys, what is the biggest lesson you got from playing with Nightwish?
There are so many incidents. What really drew me towards Nightwish was that when I first got involved with the band in 2007 on the Dark Passion Play album,
Yeah,
it was through my friend Pip Williams, who does the orchestrations, And he sent me a copy of the CD once, and it was from there that I realised that this wasn't, a bit like my friend Nick Milo who coined Vehicle of Spirit, I realised that this wasn't just a normal rock band. So that helped me to see my own direction within the band as well. But getting back to the crux of your question, I mean, there are so many high points. I mean, there are some very low points as well, but we don't need to go into those because you can probably imagine what they were.
Yeah.
But there have been some extremely high points, and playing Wembley Arena was a massive high point for all of us. For the whole band, doing Rock in Rio was a big one. And also the feeling of progression that the band has gone through from when I first started with the band. The spirit of the band has definitely changed. You know, the direction and the relationships have become strengthened. Everything seems to be moving forward at a really nice, into a really good direction. So we're all very pleased with that. But of course, personally, it's probably Wembley Arena for me.
Well, Troy, just to finish the interview, one last question.
Sure.
You are now official member of Nightwish, but you've been in thousands and thousands of projects since the 80s.
Yeah.
So you work with great bands like Arion on Thomas' solo album, also with
Yeah.
Camelot, with Sonata Arctica in this last album.
That's
So
right.
besides the Nightwish work, which is the thing that most impress you? Which band or project did most impress you working with, besides all that?
Working with
Yeah,
that's difficult because, as you say, I've played with thousands and thousands, and it's a hard one to say. I mean, I've got a close relationship with quite a few of them who I've worked with live in the past. A lot of the recording, one of the things that excites me recording and doing sessions is when I find myself working with artists who were heroes of mine when I was a kid.
yeah,
That's always fun. Like last week, I played on the new album of the guitarist Steve Hackett from
right.
Genesis,
Oh, great.
and he was one of my heroes as a kid. So Steve's going to play on my next solo album. That's what we do. We kind of swap performances, swap input. So I'm going to be working on a new solo album on the year off, among other things. But it's impossible to choose. It's impossible to choose. But I did quite a lot of work with Maddie Pryor over years. I produced quite a lot of her music and wrote a lot of music with her. So she's very close. And Barbara Dixon, two British folk
Yeah.
singers. And I love that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to float into all kinds of worlds. I love to play with all kinds of different musicians. So they'd all get very jealous if I chose one.